Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into a massive decision that just about every tech leader is facing right now. Should you stick with your trusty, reliable monolith, or is it time to make the leap to microservices? Let's get into it. So, let's start with the big question. Your application is a success, it's growing, but is the architecture it's built on actually helping or hurting? The foundation that got you here might not be the one that gets you to where you need to go. And that's the real challenge we're going to unpack. All right, here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll frame the whole modernization question. Then, we'll define the two big contenders. We'll put them head to head, figure out the signs that tell you it's time to switch, and finally, look at some really smart ways to actually pull it off. Okay, let's get right to the heart of the matter. Why is this conversation so critical right now? Well, it's because as companies scale, they often hit this invisible wall where their software just can't keep up with what the business needs. And that's the moment this whole architectural dilemma goes from a nice-to-have conversation to an urgent problem. And here's the thing you absolutely have to remember. There is no silver bullet. There's no single best architecture that works for everyone. The right answer for you depends entirely on your unique situation, how your teams are structured, what your business is trying to do, and where your biggest headaches are right now. So now, let's clearly define the two main approaches we're talking about. Both are aiming for the same goal, a successful, scalable application. But, oh boy, they get there in completely different ways. First up, we've got the classic, the monolith. Think of it like a single, self-contained office building. Everything, the user interface, the business logic, the database layer, it's all under one roof. It's one big, tightly integrated unit. And honestly, this makes it way simpler to build and deploy, especially when you're just starting out. And in the other corner, you have microservices. Now, instead of one big building, this is more like a whole university campus. You have lots of smaller, specialized buildings. Each service does one thing and does it well. It has its own team, its own database, and it talks to the others through well-defined APIs. They're built, deployed, and scaled totally on their own. This chart really lays it all out, doesn't it? On the left, the monolith. One big unit, one shared database, everything's tightly coupled. On the right, microservices. All these independent, loosely coupled services, each with its own data. And this has huge implications for scaling. With the monolith, it's all or nothing. You have to scale the whole thing. With microservices, you can just scale that one little piece that's getting all the traffic. All right, let's really put these two head to head. Let's dig into how these trade-offs actually feel in the day-to-day life of a development team and, of course, for the performance of your application. So when it comes to development, the monolith totally wins on day one. It is just faster to get started. But as your team grows, as the code gets bigger, that single code base can become a real bottleneck. Microservices, on the other hand, let small teams work independently. They can even pick the best tech for their specific job. But that freedom comes at a cost, a much bigger upfront investment to get it all working. Now, this is where things get really interesting. See, a monolith has super fast communication inside of it, but one little bug, one failure, can bring the entire system down. Microservices have this incredible resilience because of fault isolation. One service can go down and the rest of the app can keep on chugging. Plus, you get that amazing ability to scale only the parts you need, which is just so much more efficient with your resources. Okay, enough with the theory. How do you actually know if it's time for your organization to make a change? When does the pain of sticking with a monolith finally outweigh the pain of moving to microservices? If you're sitting there nodding your head to these points, then yeah, that's a pretty strong signal. Are your cloud bills just getting out of control because you have to scale the whole app for just one busy feature? Are your teams constantly tripping over each other, creating deployment bottlenecks? Is your old tech stack holding you back from innovating? These are the classic signs that a migration should be on your radar. But hey, let's be really clear here. Microservices are not for everyone. If you're a startup with a small team, or you have a pretty simple application, a monolith is often the much smarter, much faster choice. The operational complexity of microservices is no joke, and if you don't have the DevOps culture and tooling to back it up, a monolith is still your best friend. Okay, so let's say you've decided it's time to migrate. Now what? Well, the great news is you don't have to just rewrite everything all at once. That would be crazy. There are much smarter, more pragmatic ways to do this. Before you go all in on microservices, you have to know about this brilliant middle ground, the modular monolith. You're still deploying one application, but inside, it's organized into clean, well-defined modules. So you get a lot of the organizational benefits without the full-blown complexity of a distributed system. For many, this is a fantastic destination in itself, or at least a perfect stepping stone. A successful migration is never a big bang. It's a careful, phased journey. You start by planning and getting your DevOps foundation right. Then, you use this really cool technique called the strangler fig pattern to slowly and safely carve off pieces of the monolith, one service at a time. It minimizes risk. But look, this is a marathon, not a sprint. For a big company, we're talking 18 to 36 months. Easy. And make no mistake, this isn't just some abstract debate for architects. The trend is undeniable. A full 70% of enterprises are already using or actively looking at moving to microservices. That shows a massive shift in how modern software is being built today. So is all that hard work actually worth it? Oh, yeah, the payoff is huge. Companies that do this right see incredible improvements. Just look at these numbers. We're talking about deploying new features up to 10 times more often and recovering from failures 60 to 80% faster. That translates directly into business speed and resilience. It's a game changer. And that really brings us back to the most important point of all. There's no single right answer. This isn't just a technical decision between two different patterns. It's a strategic business decision about how you want to build, how you want to scale, and how you want to innovate for your future. So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. Take a good, hard look at your current system. Is it an asset? Is it a foundation that's actually enabling your business to grow and move faster? Or has it become a barrier that's slowing you down? Your answer to that question tells you everything you need to know.